guess what? It's time to take our resident Mexican, pound him with our fists, and have a good old-fashioned guacamelee. This is Guacamelee from Drinkbox Studios, using the Drinkbox developed in-house engine. And it's $14.99. What stinky cashes are $13.99 euro, Mordor coins, whatever the hell they're called. Rupees, I have no idea. But this is Guacamelee Gold Edition. This came with the Humble Bundle, and you can still grab it for whatever the hell you want. For how many days are left on the bundle now?
A
2,
couple.
3?
Right.
A couple. You can probably still get this by the time this episode hits the air.
There's
What
like
is
9 days left on the bundle.
It is Mexican Metroid. It is Mexican Metroid. That's really all I have to say about it. Run around, kill shit as Mexican wrestlers. That we'll get into that a bit later. But cue the chair split edition.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. So as you may or may not already know, we grade things on a 4-chair metric. 1 chair means that it's shit. 2 chairs means that it's meh. 3 chairs means that it's pretty good. And 4 chairs means that it's awesome. And look at Ven's mustache. It's all felt. Oh, he's not going to cut that. But maybe, if I tell him to show us the categories of doom.
Bring it.
Of whom. Mixed with the working, shiny, and sounds, controls, and fun. In order, does it work? Does it run? Does it run well? How is it orally and visually good? Controls is self-explanatory, and yeah, fun is self-explanatory. But anyways, Ven, Guacamelee Gold Edition, making with the working. Does it?
Okay.
Okay.
No.
Tienes que hablar español, si no, Ven no comprende.
Listen, Moon Boy, we're not talking about that. We're talking
American.
American. Does it make with the working? Yes, it absolutely does make with the working on a minimum system. Ubuntu 1204 LTS, 32-bit, 770 powered, out of the box, no issues with it whatsoever, not even the slightest glitch, which is a rare thing these days. 4 chairs, all L way. Take it away, J-Man.
All L way. Well, I tested this on my AMD A10 5800K Steam box. This thing ran beautifully. No issues whatsoever. Haven't tested it on the NVIDIA box. Haven't needed to test it on the NVIDIA box, which is always a good thing. So I'll give that 4 chairs. I will say this couch co-op is a bit weird because the player 2 presses start and he spawns this little ball that the other player has to hit in order for the character to spawn.
Mario Party.
Difficult while you're slipping tongue. P-Man.
Yeah, on my end, I tried it on both my calculator with a 5650 HD Radeon. Using the open source drivers, it ran out of the box, no issues. Also tried it on my 9-year-old desktop PC, which has an NVIDIA 5600 GS, and it runs fine. It just, the performance is a bit choppy every now and again, so really can't complain. It's a pretty old computer. 4 chairs for me.
So that's 4 chairs for Mix with the working. We have our avocados laid down. It's a good base. So, shiny and sounds. Ven.
What?
Was there shiny and was there sounds?
Oh, fine. Shiny and sounds, gonna look at the notes. Gotta say, man, bitching soundtrack is bitching. I loved it. Really got me in the spirit with the game. Love the whole mariachi, like, just cool. Nothing negative like that. The art style I fell in love with, just, it worked. It reminded me like Dust. It was like a simplified version of Dust, but it didn't try to be pseudo 2D, 3D. I mean, it was just like flat in that work.
But I think you like what it does try to do, don't?
Oh, then it was like, you know, there's a warning screen, and it's not like, we don't even know if this actually causes seizures, but it probably will if you're all seizing. So it's like, yes, they don't even. It was like, we haven't really tried to test this, so at your own risk. Fell in love with that, but I'm definitely going to have to knock the game 1 chair because there's a decided lack of children in the villages. So I'm going to have to give it 3 chairs.
There is actually 1 dead child, though.
Right. J-Man.
Right. One that's not enough dead children, Pedro. You need to understand. Then needs like at least a dozen dead children to even get half a chub. But anyways, yeah, like Ven said, the soundtrack to this is just awesome. It feels like you're in a luchador match, beating up zombie demons and pigmen and whatnot. And like the visuals are just awesome. It's very Dia de los Muertos or whatever the fuck it's called, Day of the Dead. It's just an all around nice looking game. I can't give it 4 chairs because my eyes were not yanked out of my sockets and rubbed on its privates. But this is a very good looking game. It is a very good sounding game. It gets 3 chairs.
B-man.
Yeah, like both Ven and Jordan already mentioned, it's the background music, it complements the visuals perfectly. They did an awesome job with that one. Kudos with that. And then there's the visuals, which for this game is basically Shank in a full Metroid-Vania suit. Except you don't get any of the nitty-gritty stuff of Shank's dark sort of story. It's all take a shot. Oh, god damn it, I can't say colorful. And cheery. So for me, I really can't find a reason to give it anything other than it deserves. 4 chairs.
Quattro!
Yep. That's 3 chairs for Shiny and Sounds. That's a very good spark.
Pretty damn
Now,
good.
we take the chili peppers and we grind it in for control.
So for the controls, I was using the Xclone 360 controller. And I was reading through the forums earlier, and people was like, well, this is kind of difficult, but I found that like binding this setup on my keyboard, and I was like, some people play this with a keyboard. You are insane. I was just like floored. I was like, you have my respect, because this thing's fuck you hard with just a controller. Everything worked with the controls. Didn't have an issue with it. Even, when it got down to like button mashing, this game doesn't let you get away with it. When you go to the trainee chicken thing, you need to train with the trainee chicken thing and learn some of those combos and moves, because they're going to save your LRs later in the game. No issues with it. I was going to knock at a chair because it felt like sometimes it just didn't register everything, but that was just down to me being old. So, I'm going to give it what it deserves, 4 chairs.
Yeah, I can't really add on to anything Ben said. The controls, the gameplay demands control precision, and it delivers it. So that's basically it. If you need the tight controls in order to even attempt to pull off any of the wacky ass shit that this game demands of you.
Yep.
So, and they pulled it off. So I'm gonna give them 4 chairs on control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, on the Xbox controller. Blah 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 blah. Don't need there's a recommendation at the beginning of the game to play this with the controller. That's more of a mandatory order.
Pretty much, yeah. So I didn't play with the Xbone controller. I used my PS2 DualShock, and I've already mentioned Shank, and if you remember a couple of months back, we threw the chairs at Mark of the Ninja, and it had the exact same problems as Shank did when it came to controls, in that they didn't work most of the times. This game, though, tight and responsive controls paired with, an out-of-the-box working DualShock controller can only mean one thing. 4 chairs.
Really? I thought it meant a rectal exam. But anyways, that's 4 chairs for controls. So, finally, it's time to mash it all up with Pedro's face as we roll on into the fun section. Then, did you have fun playing Guacamelee Gold Edition?
Fun I had, and I had it in spades. The pacing for this game is spot on. I mean, it pisses you off just enough. We were talking before we started recording, actually before we even started streaming tonight. There were multiple times where I sat down and I just got my ass handed to me. And I was like, all right, then go do something productive. And I was futzing around, and the entire time I was futzing around, in the back of my brain organ was going, all right, if you try this and you try this and you do this and you do this. And that just eventually got the best of me. And I was back in here in the studio. I was like, screw you, game. I'm going to take you down. And that happened multiple times. That's how I progressed through the game in chunks like that. And it just comes down to most modern games are just too easy. This game starts off with, like, the first time I saw the meat saws, which was like a throwback to Meat Boy, and I was like, right, I get it. All right? You don't have to, like, remind me of, like, we're trying to fuck you. But that's the important thing. This game isn't trying to be fuck you hard. It's not. It is really a throwback to the difficulty level that we saw, with, like, the original NES. And that's definitely a thing. The thing that, like, warmed my remaining heart cockle was, again, I was in the forums just reading through this. I like to keep, just up to snuff with what people are saying about games. And this was one where I was like, this game's stupid hard. I mean, it was some kidding. I mean, the first post, he was like, it has no business. This game is just da-da-da-da-da-da. And he's like pointing out all the things that make this game completely unplayable. And I was reading because, immediately on Steam, everyone jumped into his shit, right? And on page 3, he pops back in and he's like, okay, I sit down, I figured out, and I learned how to play it. I got better at it, and I finally beat it. And I was just, there we go. Some hope for the future. Belly clap for you, sir. So with the fun, I can't give it 4 chairs because ultimately it gets hella repetitive later on in some stages, especially training areas where you just drop down and it's endless. And I get that's part of the charm, but for me, it kind of started feeling a bit like drudgery. So I couldn't do 4 on that one. I really thought about it hard, but I have to give it the Quattro. Nope. Trace.
I am...
Haha.
Haha. Haha. I am super disappointed that this game doesn't have Zelda chickens, because you can beat chickens, and they look like they're gonna get mad, but then they don't try and kill you, and I was really upset about that. It's like in Skyrim. If you go to the first town and kill a chicken, you get shit. You get arrested. You get all that crap you have to deal with right at the beginning of the game. This game does not do that, so that's enough for me to ding in a chair, anyways. But I mean, you have to love Luchadors. You have to love the whole visual aspect. The game is stupid fucking hard. I probably couldn't do this as a kid. I'm not gonna do it now with my fucking bummed out wrists and repetitive strain injuries. But it's fuck you hard, but in a loving sort of way.
What about all the memes in it?
Yeah, the references are great. They're worth a chuckle. I'm gonna give this 3 chairs. This is a damn fun game.
Yep. Yeah, on the first go, it sort of sucked me in for an hour without me even realizing it. It's, again, I'm going to keep bringing Shank up, so if you're watching this later, take a shot.
No, you know,
it's
we'll
like,
just shank you later.
It's like Shank and Dust and Elysian Tail got drunk in some random Mexican bar, and this was their dumpster baby. It's the advantage it has on Shank is that at least it doesn't take itself as seriously as Shank does, so it's got that going for it. The random pop culture references, like Ben and Jordan mentioned, they're pretty mild.
Everything from Grumpy Cat to for hipster.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're actually pretty mild, and considering the general tone of the game, they're very well placed. But it does prey on the Mexican stereotype to get some cheap laughs every now and again. There's plenty of
no one in their right mind makes fun of Mexicans for
I know, right? But it does so successfully, and good on them for that. They didn't overstay their welcome. And I guess I really have to duck in a chair because it's a Metroid-vania game. And like most Metroid-vania games, it resorts to that fucking gimmick of having to have you backtrack like some obsessive compulsive lunatic in order to squeeze just a couple of more minutes of gameplay. 3 chairs.
And that's 3 chairs for fun. So if we're gonna total all this nonsense up, average it, stick it in a blender, and then serve it with a side of nachos, we get a 3-chair game for Guacamelee Gold Edition. So
That's a definite
Final
check
thoughts,
it
man.
out.
Buy this game. You can literally pay like a penny for it. It's worth more than that.
Yep.
Final thoughts on this business. Like I said, it's hard, it's challenging. I saw in the chat realm, JK47 said he had to play it with his keyboard. Got mad respect for you, son, on that. Dig it, like the art style. Now, one thing I will say, since this thing does clock in, if you don't get it on the Humble Bunde, it's 15 wet, stinky caches, and let's be perfectly honest, you can speed run this game in under an hour if you want to. I can Vin run this game, old man Vin run this game in 3 hours. So just keep that in mind. But, if you want to go and do all the quests and get all the power-ups and all that fun business, I'm sure it's just infinity and, suits everywhere. I enjoyed it. Jimin?
It's fun. I can't do Nintendo hard games anymore because my wrists are completely fucked. But had I the physical ability to go through the entire game, I probably would have, because this is a fun, addictive game. I just had to fucking put the controller down before I hurt someone.
Yeah, it is. It's hard. It's frustrating, but it's fun and it's funny. So it's got that going for it. And again, you can literally get it for 1 cent if you don't care about Steam. You can just go to Humble right now, pay 1 cent, and you get the game.
They're a Linux user, and they would never do that.
Yeah, no self-respecting Linux user would ever do that. We pay higher than the average all the time.
Goddamn right.
So,
You're
it's a
goddamn
definite
right.
check it out for me.